need money, this a triple threat. Really started with nothing, had to manifest. If you don't know your worth, they gon' give you less. Why they envy me? Cause I'm the best. MVP. My legacy is how they remember me. And I know success brings your enemies.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Triple Threat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Bruce, a.k.a. Detroit Mogul.
It's your boy Vic Gurley, a.k.a. MVP Vic.
Ryan Keys, a.k.a. BK609.
And today we have a very, very special guest, one of my great female friends that is the definition of a female boss. We're going to talk about a different industry that, you know, maybe some of you may want to get into or may have a daughter, a niece, right, that maybe want to get into it. And it's really in the beauty and pageant industry. So let me welcome on my guest, one of my good friends, Rachel.
Hello.
So
Welcome,
man. We're glad
Thank you,
to have you on
guys.
here.
Thank you. I'm a fan. I always watch, so now this is my time to be on.
Absolutely. So
About time, right?
Right.
So let's talk about when I think about pageant, right? Before I knew that you had this business, I thought about like America's Top Model. Kind of came to my mind. So tell me about your business, and is there any correlation that kind of goes with America's Next Top Model, or is it totally different? Or even what came to my mind too is like Miss America.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay.
So my pageant is called the Miss Florida Petite. So it's a petite pageant for women 5'6" or shorter. So in Miss USA organization, Miss America, you actually have to be 5'6" or taller. So my organization, it kind of gives petite women a chance to wear a crown and sash. Because even me growing up, I always wanted to model, but I've never been tall enough. You know, I've always, been able to do little runways, but I couldn't really get to the big deals because I was always short. So my pageant pretty much gives a petite woman the opportunity to wear a crown and sash. And my pageant also, you need to have a platform. So what a platform is, you pretty much need to just kind of have something that you're advocating towards, something that you're going to help out while you have your crown and sash. Like, for example, when I competed, my platform was building confidence in young girls. So I went to local elementary schools with my crown and sash, and I advocated on, the confidence that young women need to have while at a young age. So, some platforms, they could be helping out in hospitals, a cancer society, just something that they're passionate about that they're going to use their crown and sash for.
Wow.
That's dope, bro.
I didn't even know that.
Bro, it just gave me an idea, bro.
Yes.
I'm about to create a bodybuilding.
Listen. So
bodybuilding with skinny legs.
So many people,
Straight up.
and you should.
What, hips and up?
Hips and up. You don't come out there in them little drawers. You come out there in some sweatpants. I'm going to do that. Wow.
Yeah, and you should, because I had a male judge, actually, and he was like, is there something like this for men? I was like, no, create one. I feel like men need to create this for men as well.
I said it.
Yeah.
Is there like a beauty or I don't know if you would call it beauty, but like a pageant for men though?
There isn't one. So I don't think there's one. So I think you guys should create one.
Might be onto something.
Vic, you do the pageant for men. I'm going to do the skinny leg bodybuilder joint.
All right.
I like that.
So I guess tell us more about how did you get it? Well, you said that you weren't able to walk because of your height.
Right.
So what made you get to the point where you said, all right, I want to take this large scale. I want to be able to affect other people that may be feeling like how I feel.
Right. So I started competing in the petite system until there was a point that I can only take it so far. So then I'm like, you know what? I want to purchase a franchise. So I purchased the Florida franchise, and I was like, I want to now direct and have my own pageant. So my pageant, that's when I started advocating for petite women. And I started literally with 13 girls. And this time around, I had 66. Glory to God, it was been amazing. So I have a contract with the national directors. So my winners get to represent Florida in the national level. So I have the Florida franchise, and then I take my girls to represent Florida at a national level.
When did you start?
I purchased into the franchise 3 years ago, but I've been competing since I was 14.
So there's like petite pageants in every state, or is it just like
there is in every state, and the states that actually don't have a director, the girls can purchase the title. So like, let's say I want to compete for the Miss USA Petite, and I want to represent Georgia, and if Georgia doesn't have a state director, then I will apply for the title. However, if you want to come to the Florida pageant, then you will have to come to my pageant and compete and win, and then go to the USA.
So is that just in the US, or is this?
It's actually an international pageant. So my girls actually, once they go to USA and they win USA, then they get to represent USA at an international level. So we have, it's up to international. Yeah. It's kind of like Miss Universe, but the petite. Yeah. But with short women.
So it's big.
It's on TV and all that?
It's not on TV yet. It will be though. Yes. The international one, that one's live streamed because they always do it in a cruise because there's girls from all over the world coming. So that one, we always go on a cruise and, the girls come from all over the world.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, how do you choose the women that can compete? Like, how do they get chose?
So the women that can compete, they pretty much have to purchase a city sash. So my ultimate goal is to build city directors. But since I'm just starting, they would pretty much have to apply. So if they want to be Miss Tampa Petite, or if they want to be Miss Miami Petite, they would just apply through my website. And if I have several girls applying for the same city, then I will appoint cities within the city. So if I have a Miss Tampa, I would do Miss Riverview, Miss Brandon, kind of, to spread it out. Yep. Until it comes to a point where I have directors, which is my ultimate goal, to have directors in each city. So then directors are just bringing me their top of the line girls competing to my pageants. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the ultimate goal, to build city directors.
Perfect. Okay. So, I mean, I can only imagine with competing as well, too, how, this helps build women's confidence as well, too, right?
Absolutely.
Which I think is, key, in life, period. But talk about the actual competition, right? So what are some of the things that, let's say, for instance, if my daughter wants to get into it, right?
Yes.
Like, what are the things that they would need to have to try to win, for instance?
Right. So we have 4 areas of competition. Mind you, I have 5 different divisions. So I have teen. So teen is 13 through 18. Then I have an MISS division, which is 18 through 27, no children. Then I have a Miss division, which is MS, which is 18 through pretty much 18 up. Children or no children, and could have been previously married. And then I have a Mrs. division, which are married women. And then I have an elite miss, which is 45 and up. Wow. So it's pretty much giving everyone an opportunity to wear a crown and sash. And when you think about it, I have the most of my contestants are always the elite miss, because these are, probably women that have always wanted to pursue this and never really had the time, or just are now, wanting to have a chance. And I actually had one of my previous contestants, she was in her 60s and she did very well. Yeah, she was like, wearing heels. And I looked at her and I'm like, wow, you actually inspire me. Like, you're out here still pursuing your dreams and goals. And then pretty much after, those are the divisions. And then they have to do an interview portion of the competition, which they sit down with the panel of judge, and that's 35% of their overall score. Because obviously I'm looking for a beautiful woman, but I'm also looking for someone, because I'm going to take these girls to events. So I want someone that's, well at speaking in public, and it's well at advocating about their platform. So the interview is 35% of their overall score. Then we have swimwear competition, which is 25%. And then evening gown, which is another 25%, which they walk on with their dress. And that shows their posture, their elegance. And then they have the onstage question, which is 15%. So the onstage question is a question asked by the judges. If they make it to the top 5, they just pretty much get a question. The judge asks them, and then they answer it. And that just goes to show you how well they think quick on their feet.
Oh, so it's just like a random question.
Yes, just a random question. Yes. And then from there on, we tabulate the scores, and then the winners win.
Got you. Okay.
Have you ever, so when I think about beauty pageants, I think about, so I've seen like the kid one, I forgot what it's called, but where they have like the very small girls, and then like their parents are basically grooming them.
Oh yeah, the toddlers and tiara. I know exactly what show you're talking about. Yeah.
So
oh God, yeah.
So what I always wonder is, like, obviously, they're beautiful.
Yes.
So what I wonder about is like the self-esteem. Have you ever dealt with like the self-esteem issues where they say like, oh, I'm too fat, or they feel like they gotta be like a certain way, or, you know, they may be insecure about some things. Like, how do you handle those?
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually get a lot of those, to be honest, because you think, you know, pageant, you just automatically think, oh, a beautiful woman. But the great thing about my pageant is that I actually do give an opportunity to everyone to wear a crown and sash. So when they come to register at my website, I don't, you know, if I already have a city, I try to point out, you know, different cities. So I actually don't look for the perfect girl. I look for everyone because I want to give everyone an opportunity. So I've had plenty of women. Actually, I had a girl, this pageant actually, she was dealing with a lot of self-esteem issues. And I remember before going on stage, she was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't feel pretty enough. Like, look at all these girls. This is my first pageant. And I remember like, you know, oh my God, the show has to go on, but this girl needs me. So I remember just kind of pulling her aside and just like, listen, like this is beyond the beauty. Like, you're already here. You're already a winner. You won your city. You know, this is where kind of hyping them up comes. Like the fact that you're in the room with these girls, you're already beautiful. And she didn't want to come on. And I was like, you could just go at the end. But yeah, you deal with a lot of those. You deal with, even in their interviews too, hearing their stories on their platforms, just how some of them have been suicidal as well. And just seeing the struggles that they've gone through, you would think even the most beautiful girl, you know, you would think like, wow, you're really going through this. And it teaches me a lot as a person that you just can really never judge a book by its cover. Because what some of these girls go through and what they're willing to speak about, it's beyond just seeing how beautiful they are.
So what? I was just gonna say, wasn't there somebody that just died, though?
Oh yes,
The Miss she won
USA, yeah, Miss USA 2019.
Yeah.
Yep, she committed suicide. Yep, and you would think by going on her page, beautiful woman, had everything. She was actually a lawyer as well. Worked on TV, a gorgeous woman, and committed suicide. So it's just things that just kind of leaves you like, wow.
So what are some of the categories that they have to compete in besides the beauty side of it?
So the categories, definitely interview. Interview is 35% of their overall score. And then the onstage question.
Okay.
And then obviously they do swimsuit and then evening gown. But before the actual competition, I actually have an orientation with the girls where we get to kind of know each other. And, you know, we play games and we kind of, you know, because I want my pageant to be beyond just a crown and sash. I want it to be a sisterhood. I want these girls to, after the competition, kind of still, you know, stay in touch with each other and see how they can help out one another. So I try for my girls to really get to know each other as much as they can, because obviously it's a weekend competition, but I don't just want it to be like, okay, we crown the winners and that's it. I want to kind of build that sisterhood in pageantry where most pageants actually don't really have, because most pageants is you go compete and that's it. It's like a time frame. So I want my pageant to be more of like the sisterhood, the getting to know each other. So that's what we do before the actual pageant day on orientation day.
Gotcha. So from an entrepreneur standpoint, let's say somebody's watching this and they're like, I want to start my own pageant in my city.
Yes.
What are some of the things that they would need to do?
Yeah. So definitely write out a plan. So you have to write out how much you want to charge these girls. So you have to have an entry fee. And what would your entry fee include? So for example, my entry fee is $500 per contestant. And that includes their city crown and sash. So I order them a city crown and sash. I have it shipped to them. And then you already, you know, get to represent and start going about your platform. So within those $500, I kind of budget the show. So, for example, 66 girls times 500, you guys can do the math of how much I made on that. However, I budget the show and then I also start promoting for sponsors because, you know, this is a big event. So you might want sponsors that will help you with your brand. There's a lot of aesthetic sponsors that will want to be a part of this. You know, it's beauty. Lots of people that just want to put their names out, makeup artists, a lot of people that just want to work with you to collaborate and sponsorships. And then just pretty much going about advertising and being about it and wearing the brand. You know, what I tell people is, it's not so much about you have to be about it. You have to walk it. You have to wear it. Like every time, it's so funny because my friends are like, Rachel, you everywhere you go to Walmart, you wear heels. I'm like, I run a beauty pageant. Like I have to be about it. I wear my brand all the time because I don't know who I'm going to meet at Walmart. And I actually recruited 3 of my contestants that came to my pageant. I recruited them in person. So, you know, you have to just kind of you have to love what you do. That has to be the main thing. You have to love it, and then from there come up with a plan on a budget as to how much you want to charge them, and then just getting the venue, sponsors, and all of that stuff.
Got you. Okay.
All right. Well, I kind of want to jump back to the other thing. I think it's important, especially with the young lady that just committed suicide.
Yeah.
So, I guess what type of words would you have for the women, the young ladies out there who may feel like they aren't enough, or they're not good enough to be in a pageant like this, or they have those insecurities?
Yeah.
Because social media makes it tough out here.
Listen, social media makes it seem like everyone's living the perfect life. Right. And it's tough because once you think about it, social media, it could be a blessing and it could be a curse. Because people want to put out there what everyone wants, what they want people to see, but they're not putting the struggles. So what I would really tell that young girl that's struggling is what is enough? What is beautiful? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. There's no standard as to what a beautiful woman is, what's a pageant queen. Just kind of just going about your day, getting up, just continue to try. Like if I go as to how many pageants I've lost way more than what I've won. I actually only won 3 pageants in my whole life, and I competed in 16. And just keep going. Don't let the downfalls bring you down, and just know that you just have to keep striving, and there's always, you got to keep going for more.
Well, I will say this one thing, I'm proud of you too, is that the growth that you had in such a very short time.
Right. Yeah, because you met me before this was when I was on the come up.
Right.
Yeah.
So just seeing your growth, even from just last year to now, is amazing. Like, far as marketing and getting so many more contestants to get into the business was like, how to find, I know you found people in person, but has it been more word of mouth? Has you done any paid marketing?
Definitely, just running ads. I ran ads all over Facebook. And that's another thing too. If you want to do a pageant, you have to know that you have to invest. Like the first year, every money that I made, I put it back in it. Even this year, like a little bit more than half of my profit, I invested it back in the pageant, because if you want, especially if you see the long term in this, like I do, you have to invest back in your business. You have to know that, okay, this year the pageant was great, but the vision that I have for it, I want it on TV. So it's like you have to keep investing. So you have to invest. I invest in ads. I run a lot of ads through Facebook, Instagram. Just investing and just, putting the money back into your business so people could continue to know about it.
So how do we get it on TV?
So definitely the brand has to keep growing, but that's the goal. Just to, even the national pageant is doing great. Last year they had about 260 contestants around there. I think about 200, but again, they have 5 different divisions. It's just the more it grows, the more I can even start talking to local news outlets about it. Like I think there is this local news outlet in Tampa. It's called Enfoque Now. They reached out to me because they were like, hey, we saw that you did a beauty pageant. So it's just, I guess the more it grows, the more people are, kind of like, hey, what is this pageant about,
Speaking of growth, are there a lot of return contestants, or is it mainly new people?
No. So last year I had 13 and 5 of my 13 returned. So this year I had 66, mind you, that actually signed up. About 42 showed up to the pageant, but this year alone, 10 of them have already signed up and returned. So that's another thing. The more I do it, and that's the thing too about giving these girls a great experience. Because if you don't give them a great experience, if you make them feel like they're just a number, they're not going to return. But I kind of make it feel like it's beyond the pageant. It's a sisterhood. I show so much love to each and every one of them. I remember going to orientation and literally hugging each and every one of them, because it's just thanking them that they're investing in themselves and also investing in my business. And one of them is like, wow, you remember my name? Like she was in such shock. And it's little things like this that's a returning contestant, because now she knows that I personally care about her and she's not just a number to me.
Okay. So what is the process, or is there, I guess year round, is there something that they do? Do y'all have like events throughout the year?
Yes. So definitely after they sign up, and this is another a source of income for me as well. We host seminars. So the 500 entry fee is for them to do the pageant. However, once they sign up, we do probably like I won't say six, probably like 3 to 4 seminars throughout the year, where I have a contestant coordinator that she helps me kind of coach the woman one-on-one, because I can't personally coach them because I'm the director. So it will be a conflict of interest if I'm working on one-on-one with them and then they win. So I kind of have a contestant coordinator that coaches them. So we host actually seminars. We had one in Miami a month before the pageant, where we kind of just do a group seminar with them, kind of go over public speaking skills, interviewing skills, what we look for in a winner. We go over runway. And then again, we do a get to know each other kind of exercise as well, which they love that. So that's something that we're going to keep doing.
Gotcha. So the pageant is in January, right?
It's this year's in January. Next year, I'm probably going to stretch it out to March, but I still don't have an exact date, but it's always once a year.
So when do you start sign up for the?
We started right away. So it's an ongoing thing. So as soon as, the pageant, I normally give myself a week and then registrations open again. And I already have about 12 girls already signed up for next year.
Nice.
Yes, and I haven't even promoted them. I haven't even run any ads. This is just by some of the ones coming back. Yes.
I got a deep question for you.
Yes, I'm ready.
What is beauty to you?
Oh, that's a tough question. I feel like beauty to me, it's the way that you carry yourself, elegance, the way that you speak, the way that you treat others, and most importantly is how people remember you. Because they're not really gonna remember. Yeah, you could remember a beautiful girl, but I always see people are always gonna remember how you treat them. So I always tell my girls, it's beyond the beauty. To me, I just feel like it's about being feminine, it's about elegance, about the way that you portray yourself and the way that you really treat others at the end of the day, because that's what people are gonna remember.
Right. So one thing I know you said is that you want them to have some type of cause or something.
Yes, a pageant platform.
Right, so tell me, what has been the most memorable platform that somebody,
Yes. So there was one that I actually remember this year that really stuck with me because she's actually a nurse and she's an RN nurse, mind you. She's competing for this pageant, and her platform is helping out the elderlies, because she's like, being a nurse and working with elder people, there's people really just don't care about them. She's like, I come in the hospital and they don't even have families. Just like how people really need to start caring more for the elderlies, like how they do little kids. So that kind of stuck out because I never, thought about okay, the elderlies, people are so quick of putting them in a home. So it's true. So she was like, being in the hospital, you don't know how many people that I see, elderlies, die alone. That were like, is there someone you want me to call? And they're like, no, I haven't spoke to my family in over 5 years. They left me in a home. So that kind of stuck home for me because I'm so big on family that I'm like, wow, that could never be a family member of mine. But it sucks because a lot of people are just out there just leaving these elderly people dying alone, and that kind of stuck with me.
Dang.
So she advocates very heavy on that, and I love that.
So okay, also too with the platform, so do they have like a foundation or something? It's not like when you say platform for them,
yeah.
Is it like how, explain like that a little more in detail?
Yeah, they can have a foundation. Okay. Some of these girls also have personal sponsors that they actually sponsor them because, a pageant is not cheap to compete in. They have to get hair and makeup. They have to pay for a lot of things. So they have personal sponsors that give them money to kind of put in towards their foundation. Some of them, you can even have a platform for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It doesn't even have to be your own. But yes, they can have foundations, or it could just be something that you're passionate about that you're helping kind of bring awareness to with your crown and sash.
Gotcha. Okay. And I know you had some interesting judges.
I did, yes.
So
yes.
So how do you prep them? Like how do they get?
Yes. So my judges, I actually like for them to be well-rounded. Okay. I like to have different kinds of judges. I like to have one that was a former beauty queen or that knows about pageants. Then I like to have a kind of a male that just is kind of out of it, that just doesn't know anything about pageant, more like of an entrepreneur, but just can kind of spot an eye of a beauty queen. And then just kind of like more of like influencers or fitness models, or just kind of people that just know what it takes to become a beauty queen. Gotcha. So I like to be diverse with the judges. And before interview, I kind of let them know what I'm looking for in a winner. So I'm like, listen, I'm looking for a girl that's going to represent me, my Fleur de Petite brand at nationals. So I'm looking for the best of the best in each, in each category. I'm looking for a go-getter, someone that's well-rounded, someone that thinks quick on their toes, someone that's feminine, that's elegant, but most importantly, but overall, that this girl is beautiful, has all of these qualities, but they're beautiful. And then, and to be honest, all of my judges, there's never been a year that I'm like, oh my God, they picked the wrong winner.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, my judges have actually listened, and every single year, I'm like, okay, you guys did a good job. Good. Yeah, they always end up picking the right one.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
So when is nationals? So you just had the pageant. What was it? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it was about 3 weeks ago. January. Yeah.
So the winner from there goes to nationals.
Yes. So the 5 winners, because remember I have 5 different divisions. Uh-huh. So I take my 5 winners to compete at nationals, and nationals is actually in August. So it's actually the weekend of my birthday. Is August 13th through the 15th. So that's going to be in Milwaukee. Last year was in Milwaukee. This year it's also going to be in Milwaukee. So now what I do is, because since now they're my queens, I get to personally coach and prep them. So that's what we do. We normally get on Zoom call every once a week. I kind of meet with them personally on a one-on-one to kind of even get to know them deeper than this, because I feel like in order for me to be able to coach a woman or one of these girls, I have to really dig down, deeply get to know them, to kind of, if they're wanting to give up, like, no. So it's just, I want to first now get to know these 5 girls on a personal level, and then begin working with them to develop them, to coach them. So hopefully one of them, or if not all 5 of them, can bring the crown to Florida.
Wow. And so is there any other prize that comes besides getting that crown at nationals?
Yes. So my winners, actually a part of them winning, I get to take them to compete at nationals for free. So the national entry fee is $1,000 per girl. So I take care of that for them, for each one of them. So they get to compete in nationals for free. And then we also have sponsors that kind of give them packages, kind of like free facials, kind of clothing boutiques that have given them clothes. But the more that we grow, the more price packages that we're going to have. But definitely I take care of their national fees, so they don't have to worry about that.
What we need to do to be a sponsor?
Yes. Well, honestly, as long as you feel like your brand can tie back into giving back to these girls in any way, shape, or form, or if you just want your name announced, like, the day of the pageant, I have a program book and just a big screen that we announce sponsors. And in the program book, you'll have like an ad. So even if you just want to advertise your name, you can
triple threat.
I gotta advertise the podcast on there.
Absolutely. So we gonna talk about that. Get that set up.
Yes.
Definitely got to. So all right. So we talked about a lot. Again, I'm just seeing it from the ground up.
Yeah.
Seeing your growth has been amazing. I can only imagine where this is gonna go.
Yes.
For years to come. I see you on TV.
Excited. Yeah, I'm excited. I see it too. I believe it.
Yeah,
it'll happen probably within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I definitely see it on TV. For the last thing is for entrepreneur, because the big thing that I want people to know is that you don't see the behind the scenes that Rachel, all the stuff that goes on.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Together, right?
Oh, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
But what's one advice that you can give someone that's watching this that is aspired to, like I said, create their own, but maybe have a lot of self-doubt right now, or just don't know like how to go? Like, do you even offer, I don't know if you offer mentorship to people that may want to start their own? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely do, because like I said, my goal is to create more city directors. Okay. So I would say you first have to love it. You have to love working with people, because like you said, there's the behind the scenes part that they don't see. They just see the glitz and the glamour, but the behind the scenes is the girls are constantly calling me, asking me questions. So you have to have the patience. You have to love what you do. And overall see the bigger vision in what you're doing, because at first it's gonna be really ugly. Even probably the first show, you're probably not gonna make any money from it. But you have to just genuinely love what you do and always see the bigger vision into it, because if you just give it your all, you're gonna see the fruits of your labor.
Did you have anybody that doubted you and said, Rachel, what you doing? This ain't.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Even it's funny because my dad is my biggest supporter, but when I first started the pageant, career, he was like, how can you make money out of this? I see you working so much. And I'm like, Dad, yeah, and at first I'm not gonna see the money, but it's gonna work out. And I remember, and this was like when I first started, when I was building the brand, that he just saw that I was investing. And he's like, Rachel, ain't no money in this. Like, what are you doing? Stop wasting your time. He's like, I know that this is what you love, but sometimes we can't follow what we love. And I was like, just trust me. I see the vision. And now this pageant around, I showed him my profit. And he was like, wow, you my daughter? I was like, oh, no, I'm your daughter. I showed him how much I made. And then he's like, okay, I see what you mean. But again, you have to love what you do. Right. Because if you don't, man, those nights are going to crawl up on you where you're really wanting to give up. But it's the vision and the impact that I'm chasing, aside from the money.
Okay. 5 years.
5 years.
Give us a vision.
Oh my God. 5 years, my vision is having at least 10 or more city directors, where I'm having a big local pageant in Tampa, Miami. I'm creating city directors, having my pageant on TV, having sponsors, and then just me taking over another state. That's always been kind of like one of my goals, because I've always been a big dreamer, and I know that this doesn't stop in just Florida. I want to take over all these states that don't have directors and just kind of duplicate what I'm doing in Florida.
Gotcha. Okay. So if somebody is watching this again too, how can they get in contact with you if you had there, they want to maybe be a contestant? What's the website? How can they get?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, rachelalmanza.com, and you can click on Florida Petite Pageant. I have a hyperlink on there, and you could just pretty much go to where it says register, and there will be an application there. You can find me on Instagram, Rachel Almanza, Facebook, Rachel Almanza, and then you could DM me any questions.
Perfect. And guys, we're going to make sure we have all those links in the show notes. If you're watching this on YouTube, it'll definitely be in the description as well too, for you guys to go ahead and make sure you tap in with Rachel. Like I said, it's amazing for you guys to see it. I've never saw anything like that in person ever.
But speaking of guys, before we go, I'm sure some of these guys watching probably gonna want to know, is Rachel single?
Oh, Brian, you're funny.
They're gonna want to know, right?
Probably gonna want to know.
You're not gonna get out of here without answering.
The wild card question.
Yes, I am single. Yes, I am.
Okay. So what does it take for one of these men out here to date Rachel?
I mean, it takes a very strong man, emotionally mature, and he must love God the same way that I do. Other than that, I feel like everything else we could work out.
Fella, shoot your shot.
You can't be broke now either, though. Hold on.
Hey, look, a lot of them was like,
Hold up. You have to have some kind of bag. You can't just be out here. Okay. Emotionally mature. You must love God, and you must bring something to the table.
Okay.
Even ambition. I could work with some ambition as long as you're working on something. You know, we could work on that.
Fellas, only shoot your shot if you got those. If you don't have those credentials, don't do it.
Right? Don't do it. Please don't do it. I don't
Fellas, come correct now. Get your bag right first.
Yeah.
Oh man, this has been amazing. So once again, Rachel, I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you, guys.
Again, we're gonna have all the links and everything so that you can make sure you get interested. If you're interested in going to the pageant, if you're interested in being a contestant in the pageant, especially, or if you know your niece, right? If you got a cousin, if you got a daughter, whatever, you want to get them in the pageant, or yourself want to get a pageant, we're gonna make sure we have those links so that way you can make sure you can become a contestant, at least apply. You gotta apply. She ain't letting everybody.
Yeah.
You gotta meet certain credentials.
Yeah, you have to meet some credentials for sure. But definitely apply. And if you have any questions, write me. I'll be more than glad to answer them.
Absolutely. So I'm signing off. One of your hosts, Chris Bruce, aka Detroit Mogul.
This is Vic Gurley, aka MVP Vic.
Brian Keys, aka BK609.
To help wash my pain away. Now I don't make a payment late. New estate got my name on the gate. This what my granny call amazing grace. Let me park the IA so I can take the rave. You can do it too, it just start with faith.